Live from New York, it's the show that has heard Jonathan Kuminga now 7-3. It's first things first today. Draft day approaches. Is Damian Lillard on the move? And should he be? Meanwhile, Wemby off target with his first pitch, but is he on track to be the best number one pick of this century?
Okay.
And, well, it's a tease.
Okay.
And finally, Kevin Durant defends the legacy of his old teammates. Somewhat confusing, somewhat honorable. Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes. Nick, did you like KD's latest tweets? His latest tweet salvo.
I don't know if many people did, but I was one of them. I liked it. I think KD actually makes some really fair points in this that we will discuss.
More on that in 45 minutes.
It's actually in an hour. In 45 minutes, we're talking about
1 hour.
DeAndre Hopkins.
We start with Dame's dilemma. Portland at the crossroads of a rebuild. Or a major move to build around Dame, which won't work. Dame spoke to Hoops Hype saying, of course people are going to say, you don't have a ring. You see how people talk about Charles Barkley, and he's Charles Barkley. He was a great player. Of course it's at the top of the list for me to win a championship. Okay. Brew, any chance Dame is winning a title in Portland?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I mentioned yesterday if they got Zion Williamson with the third pick, for the third pick, that'd be great, and I'd keep Dame for a year and see how well that goes. But that's second round max probably, maybe conference finals, but definitely I don't think they'd win the West. And so I don't think, number one, they can build a team around him that's good enough to win. Number two, Damian Lillard is an all-time great. We know he made the top 75 team, all that. Not good enough as a smaller player to lead a team to a championship. They're going to have to get either a player that's better than him or right there comparable with him and bigger.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they need. Like, I've said it before, Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons and Steph Curry are the only two small players to lead teams to championships. That's it in the history of basketball. And I don't think Dame's going to do it. The good thing for Dame is he doesn't. We all would like to see him win a championship. It'd be great. He would make a Miami and some other teams better. But Dame is not at that level where it's like, he got to win the championship.
Or else,
like, that's the MVP level.
So that
Durant, Harden, they have to win championships. Nobody's going to take points away from Dame if he doesn't end up winning the championship. If he does, it's great, and it makes his legacy better. But I don't think anybody's going to rip Damian Lillard if he doesn't win a championship.
Well, here's what, because I think people are getting maybe a little tired of this story. I said yesterday my cup was full on it, or close to full on it. And I don't know if he is going to be moved or not. But I would like to do something here that I feel like for all the time we've talked about Damian Lillard is not done very often, which is remind the audience, this is Portland's fault. We can now be frustrated with Dame, Willie, or won't he, I got places to be. I get that. But Portland has had a decade to build a competent team around an excellent but obviously limited star because of his size. And they have failed. They never found him a number two post-Aldridge, and they made these mealy-mouthed moves. I went through them, and I'll just give the audience a quick reminder of it. They traded a first-round pick for Jeremy Grant, who we don't know what his future with the team is. They have nothing to show for trading C.J. McCollum. Nothing left from that. They traded a first-round pick for Larry Nance, then included him in the trade when they got rid of C.J. McCollum, and for a first-round pick for Robert Covington, who plays for the Clippers now. They got in the Hassan Whiteside business with their eyes wide open. They never once said, okay, we have a star who's 6'2". We're going to need to build a team that can handle those natural defensive limitations. So I don't blame Dame for them not winning, and I don't think you blame Dame for them not winning, in part because he's not an all-time great, but also because they haven't put the right team around him. But now, Wildes, even though it's not his fault, he is at a position where you can't have both things you want. He claims to want to win a championship and also to never leave the Blazers. Well, those two things are diametrically opposed.
True.
So much like someone who is committed to their family and their career, and they get a job offer across the country, and the spouse says, we're not moving. You then have to make a choice.
But
what am I more committed to?
What if he thinks, which we disagree with, but he thinks he can actually lead them to a championship
with who? Zion?
Zion, or he may not think he needs as much help as we think he needs.
That's where. But that I would
think
blame.
that's fair.
But Wilds, that I would blame him for.
Well, yeah.
Because he's
you
30.
think he's sitting there saying, "Man, I need Kevin Durant to win the championship"?
I didn't say Kevin Durant, but Brew. I think Dame has a high basketball IQ. I think Dame is a savvy, sharp guy. He's 33 years old. If he thinks the Blazers are a tweak away or a minor move away.
Well, a big move with the number 3.
Then, okay, even that, trading the number 3 pick for for Zion away from winning a title, then I think that I would blame him for, because
what
that
else
shows
could it be?
That
he really doesn't want to win?
That of the two things he wants, that he wants to win and he wants to stay in Portland and be the man and have a career with one team, that weighs heavier than the winning, which is his prerogative. Sure. But it Wilds, like, he's got you. I mean, you made the point. You didn't like Dame's quote when we first saw it, because you thought it was unrealistic.
I said on the call this morning, I said it's like wanting to win a windsurfing competition and live in New York. Like, at some point, you either got to move to Aruba or stay, but you can't have both. So here's where the Blazers are last season. They were 26th on the record. Their offensive rating was 18th, and their defensive rating, Brew, was 28th. If he thinks he's one player away, I think he's very wrong. And I'll use the LeBron example. When LeBron went back to Cleveland, he said, okay, I'm LeBron. I'm really good. Kyrie, you're really good, and we've got the number 1 pick. I don't want the number 1 pick.
Right.
I need another star. So go get Kevin Love, send Andrew Wiggins to Minnesota, and now we can win a championship. Dame has 1/3 of the puzzle. He's like, well, if I get Zion, I'm like, okay, but you're still a third away. You're still your Kevin Love player away.
I agree. But I think part of what's enabled Damian Lillard at 6'2" from Weber State to become an all-time great
I've seen
is
them
thinking,
commercials.
I can do that's it, right? He thinks his expectations of himself are higher than ours, and that's what's enabled him to become such a great player.
Here's the thing. I don't think, though, that I don't think this is Dame being delusional. I think
it's him lying.
I think if Damian Lillard doesn't force his way out of Portland, it's not because he's now convinced they can win a title. It's because he's making a choice. That being the man in this city and being relatively close to home, you know what I mean, in Northern California, as far as what other places you could go on the East Coast, and having one career with one team, all of that is the most important thing. And I'm going to try to climb this mountain as high as I can get it. And climbing it without, by myself, I
don't have a problem. And I said Iverson, Russell Westbrook, they had the same mentality. They were like, look, of course I want to win, and I'm going to give all my all to win. But I want to win here. This is my team. And if I can't do it at the end of my career, I'm fine with that. I don't mind that attitude at all.
That's what, I'm telling you, what I'm saying is, if Dame doesn't force his way out, that's his attitude. It's not, I'm not doing it because I think we're going to win a title here. He's not dumb. He knows too much about basketball. And even if he thinks he's the top 3 player in the league, he can believe that and still also know they can't win a title. The thing you were saying, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, he also has the luxury of not having to win. LeBron James didn't have this luxury. Kevin Durant did not have this luxury of, like, if Kevin Durant finishes his career without a ring, everybody is crushing him.
Yes.
Dame's not going to be that guy because he's not on that level that KD is.
Okay, go.
I just want to, before we move on, just quickly, and we've said this before, but I think it warrants repeating today with the news that Michael Jordan's final move with the Washington Wizards is going to be passing on Scoot Henderson for Brandon Miller. Vegas thinks Brandon Miller's lock stock number 2. If you're Portland and all of a sudden Scoot, who's also 6'2", and it's like, hold on a second. We have Shaedon Sharpe, Bruce, guy who you like. We could have Scoot, who a lot of people believe would be the number 1 pick in a lot of drafts, and somehow he's going to fall to us at 3. And then potentially a bounty for what we trade Dame for. That is a supercharged rebuild with a team that makes sense.
Agree.
It is in Portland's best interest, if it's true, that Jordan's going to take Brandon Miller to draft, because you can't play Scoot and Dame together. You can't have 2 6'2" guards. That's
and
not
they
gonna,
got Anthony Simons too.
Exactly, it's the 3 small. And
But
so
isn't that why Jordan is? I know we don't want to turn it into a draft conversation, but he doesn't think that Scoot and LaMelo.
I understand that.
But one of them could be a trade asset.
Yeah, exactly. You can trade LaMelo. If Scoot's as good as I believe he is, I think he has to go number 2. But set that aside. If you're Portland, do you think Portland's front office wants Dame to ask for a trade? Because I do.
If that's true, then man up. Man up, sit down with your superstar and say, look, Dame, we love you. We love your loyalty. You have been, they would say, maybe the best Blazer ever. I would probably say Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say Dame.
It's Clyde.
Give him his respect. But it's like, for you and for us, it's better if we split ways. You're not winning a championship here, and we're going to be in this mediocre middle ground as long as you're here because we don't have the pieces around you.
Yeah.
We'll go young, and you go to Boston or wherever we send you, and you can win a championship.
Yeah, I like that. I do feel odd because it feels somewhat selfish as a basketball fan.
It is.
Watching Jimmy rise to the occasion and be like, man, that could be Dame too. Maybe on the same team. But to watch Dame in the playoffs is something we haven't seen enough of.
Right. Terry Cummings pretty good too.
Terry Cummings?
Terry Cummings pretty good. No, not
in the
Dame.
Dame.
This is a pretty good player. This is a pretty good player.
He was nice, but
all right.
Bill
Head out to LA,
MVP.
where I
with
thought
Milwaukee.
the Clippers were adding Chris Paul, but it turns out Mark Stein reporting they were thinking about breaking up Paul George. Front office is, quote, giving real consideration to the idea of disassembling the Kawhi Leonard-Paul George tandem. Well, here's their track record. Speaking of things we haven't seen a lot of, these two play together. 41% is the literal bottom line there.
Yeah.
So, Nick, is this the right move to split up Kawhi and Paul George?
It's time to end the most overhyped, without any production, duo in modern NBA history. Like, what was your favorite moment of this Clippers era? I know what mine was. It was really Bru's star turn involving First Things First. Bru had been a star on many outlets, but he had never had a moment on First Things First until Bru's Clippers. That was my favorite. Bru's Clippers during the bubble season.
Y'all kind of backed the brother into that corner, too. I like the Clippers one day on the show. Next thing you know, I'm the Clipper guy.
Team. But okay, if it's not Bru's Clips, and it's not the billboards, and they're like, hey, you can have backpacks because we're going to take the team from the Lakers. That was fun. And the New Balance commercials, was it the most, I think maybe the most embarrassing 3-1 blown lead ever because of the way they did it. Just blowing 20-some point leads and then getting blown out. The Game 7 being laughable. Was that it?
That was definitely, I'd say, the low point.
Or was the low point when your star player who holds all the strings like a marionette for your entire organization is like, yeah, I'm going to live in San Diego, and I don't know when I will or not be there. Or was it when our colleague Skip Bayless knew more about Kawhi's injuries than the Clippers did? I don't know what it was, but I know none of it was good. So yeah, when you still owe your next 3 years of draft picks to Oklahoma City, you probably need to admit it's not happening and start the rebuild before that new stadium opens so your fans have something to look forward to. That's what I would say.
That was cute and energetic. I liked it. You've been waiting a long time for that, and you deserve it. You deserve it. However, no.
There we go. I know what
you made your bed. Look, because it has been an abysmal failure. But why?
Because they're hurt.
Yes.
But Boo, don't say if they get healthy, give them one more year. Don't say it.
No. My point is, who you getting for Paul George, who hasn't played 60 games in 4 years and is 33 years old? Who you getting for Kawhi Leonard, who is always injured, right? Who had low management this year and then gets hurt in the second or third game of the playoffs? Yeah. You're not getting the guys. They've got 1 year or 2, if you include their player options, left on your deal. All right? So I say, It's just too late. You made your bed. You got to lie in it at least one more year.
One more year?
Yes. So play the guy. See what happens.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Disappointment.
That's fine. Let's see. They had one chance, much like the Nets that you two like to mock. They had one chance, and they blew it because they were up 3-1 on Denver. Mm-hmm. But that was their only chance in these 4 years to do anything. Give it one more shot. Okay. And here's the deal.
Yeah.
They most likely they'll both opt out of their deal after next season, trying to get right. So maybe not if they're smart. Or at least Kawhi.
I don't know if Kawhi
Kawhi
will.
might not.
Yeah.
But we'll see. If they opt out, let them walk, get you some cap room, and you're going into the new arena in Inglewood that year. So do that. If not, see what happens this year.
I think
because they can't, like you said. I mean, look, they were irrelevant for basically 2 decades.
That's right.
Made the playoffs only twice in 18 years.
Yeah, but they
don't want to go back.
Hold on a second, though. But that wasn't the era that preceded this. The era that preceded this was the most successful Clippers era ever.
But even that wasn't great.
No,
at least this
no,
group
it was better than this.
No, it wasn't. This group got to a conference final.
I would argue the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan era, the totality of it was better.
It was more. Right. That was as disappointing as this.
That was
because you hired Doc Rivers. You're thinking we're gonna win a championship.
Fair enough. I think it was. You're a Clippers fan. You look more fondly upon that era.
Because they played.
They played. Well, yeah, they played.
I get it. But they also had. Look, if they're, and I know it's a big if they're healthy.
Oh my God! You got to stop with it.
I'm gonna save it.
Give them one more year.
Because they own somebody in the NBA.
That's true.
They own somebody in the NBA.
Okay. They own LA.
What?
They're 24
they
14
own the
when they play
Lakers.
together.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Brew. You don't know.
And I got more coming in the next segment on this.
On the Clippers?
Yeah.
We're talking
in the Lakers segment. He's saying the Lakers.
We got a whole LA segment.
We're doing that. That's not even next.
No,
we're talking about Wemby next, first of all. Second of all,
in the sea.
Okay.
I'm not going.
Can I just because they don't own their draft picks, they can't. The whole do it another year and then it's on the board. Kawhi and Paul George could walk for nothing. You get nothing. You are forced to bottom out with no way to recoup the picks. And if you're terrible, you get no benefit from it because the Thunder get your picks. You've got to
had 2 decades of lottery picks and did nothing with them.
Well, LJ
and I know it was a different regime, but just having lottery picks doesn't mean you're going to make the most out of them.
But having no picks means you can't.
Well, you got to get these. Maybe they need a new medical staff. How about that?
Oh my gosh!
How about that?
Are you bringing Chris Paul back?
Russell Westbrook back, you mean?
Yeah.
Or
I would bring not both. I wouldn't bring both. Yeah, one or the other, I'd love to have.
I like them both.
Really?
Yeah, because
you think Russ is going to like that? I know they're
Russ
good
is going to play 75 games and have a lot of opportunity while people are hurt. And then Chris Paul's like good karma.
And then come playoffs, Chris will start and Russ will sit.
Sure.
That'll be good?
What?
You think that'll fly?
I think it's good vibes to have Chris Paul back in the Clippers uniform. Okay. Lob City again?
Guys, they're
Lob City.
We're talking about the Tyler
Who's
leaving.
jumping for the lobs?
Kawhi
can barely jump.
Wemby next on FS1 and the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
How does Brew end with Kawhi can barely jog after the impassioned
the way it looks at the end of the season? He'll get help.
Hey, college football fans, Joel Klatt here, and I am so happy to announce my new interview series, The Joel Klatt Show Big Noon Conversations. Every Monday, we will bring you a candid conversation with the most influential voices in college football. From Colorado's Coach Prime to Coach Saban down in Tuscaloosa, we sit down and discuss all things college football. Download The Joel Klatt Show Big Noon Conversations wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to the new Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel.
Wemby sat down with Tommy and JJ Redick in their podcast and talked about the sky-high expectations and the pressure that comes with it. Take a listen.
I don't feel any pressure on my shoulders or what. And I think the reason is because I try to live free. I'm sort of be like a free mind at all times. And the way I play is just the way I truly want to play, and I've wanted to play my whole life. So it's just, this is me, and I'm trying to show my true personality on the court and just be myself. I know what I want. I'm driven from the inside of my heart, and nothing can put me out of my path. So I'm gonna make I do everything. I do everything I can, so I deserve what I get.
Spurs to the playoffs. Brew, what is Wemby's floor and what is his ceiling?
The floor is like Greg Oden. He's injured,
unfortunately,
and is not
That's
able
right.
to play. I mean, if you want to throw in Zion, that wouldn't be the floor of Zion. But, if it's that type of situation where he just can't stay healthy. But Greg Oden would be the best.
Before
example.
you give your ceiling, can I just one quick follow-up on the floor? Yeah. What's his floor if he's healthy? Have you thought of?
No, I didn't really think of it that way because I think he's
if he's healthy, like a floor, you think he's a multi-time All-Star, even as long as he's healthy.
If he's healthy, it's possible he could be a Sean Bradley and just not that good, but I don't see that.
Got you.
What I'm going to say, so mainly my floor answer is Oden. If the ceiling, there is none.
Okay.
Ceiling is GOAT. I mean, seriously.
Go?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the ceiling. Is it possible? Yes.
Okay.
If what we've heard about him is, you saying it's not possible.
No, go ahead.
He's 7'5".
He is.
He can handle the basketball. He shoots it okay, but he's got a form and looks like he's going to shoot it better.
Right.
He can defend. He's 19 years old, was the MVP of the French league. And I know that might not be the top level European league, but he's still playing against grown men.
That's right.
And dominated offensively, led the league in scoring and defensively. He's going to a great organization where he's got a great coach. They know how to handle not only stars, but international stars. He's learned at the feet. Would he play for teams owned by Boris Diaw, Tony Parker? He's been exposed to great pro players who've handled themselves professionally. And I'm not saying I think he's going to be the GOAT.
No, I get that.
Or that he's going,
But you're
I'm
saying
just
that's
saying
the ceiling.
that's
you're
the
saying
ceiling.
that's the ceiling. Okay, so
That's
here's
pretty good. You convinced me.
He's better than Luka, Giannis, and Jokic were at this stage. And look at how great they became.
By the way, I don't think has a better European resume than Luka did. For the record, I know Luka went third in the draft. I thought it was crazy at the time. Luka won MVP of a far tougher league and won championships. Mm-hmm. So I disagree with you on that, but he is a better prospect because he's 7'5". I don't think he's more. So I get that part of it. So I worry that we in the media are setting this kid up to be a disappointment, even if he's a Hall of Famer, and I hate that. So this is when we talked about it a month ago, and you got, I think, misaggregated by the public when you weren't saying you'll be disappointed in him if he's only Akeem. But what you were saying was the lottery night when they say within 3 years he could be the best offensive and defensive player ever, in the league, and he's far better prospect than LeBron. They are setting up
America's
best prospect.
American
Oh, that's right.
History.
Better prospect.
So
than Tiger Woods.
if that's what it is,
and Tiger Woods 3 years old hitting putts on the Ed Sullivan show. This guy's a better prospect. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Point is, you were saying that is setting him up for failure. So I did, and this is, again, my list, so you might take some issue with it. I think you'll agree with it mostly. The best players to be drafted number one since Shaq. Okay? From Shaq to now. There's the list. Okay? My question for you guys is this. More likely, Duncan or Yao? More likely. What do you think is the fair? Because I don't think
taking health out of it.
No, I'm saying no. Because what happened to Yao?
Assuming, okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
assuming he'll be healthy. I think if you ask me to project what I think he'll have a Tim Duncan type career. If you ask me to project.
Multiple MVPs and multiple championships.
All-time great player.
Yeah. So if he's healthy, I don't know if we can throw that list back up there. If he's healthy, when we do this list again in 15 years or whatever, you think it's on the board that Shaq or Duncan have moved back to spot?
Yes. I think it's on the board that he will be the GOAT.
What's up, Wilds?
It's a long contract for me. 15 years.
Okay. All right. That's
you don't think GOAT is on the board? It's a possibility. I mean, we haven't even seen it.
No. Do I think it is more of a possibility than any player that you'd be like, well, anything's possible type of thing, that he finishes as a top three guy, better than Kareem, Jordan, and LeBron, because there's three guys I think who are at least in the GOAT argument? No, I don't. I don't think that's likely.
Nick,
I don't think that's.
I'm not asking you if it's likely. Because I wouldn't say Scoot Henderson might be a great player. It's not. GOAT is not his ceiling. or I don't know who you could name of the last 20 years. The only guy I thought GOAT was going into the draft, the only guy I thought GOAT was a possibility for was LeBron. So I don't just throw this out willy-nilly.
No,
he's a great player. Who knows what it be? But I'm just saying with these accolades, I don't see how the ceiling can't be we've never seen anything like never.
What if I reverse engineered it as like a creative writing exercise? I was like, hey, let's say we needed to design a player who had GOAT potential.
Yeah, I wouldn't design this body.
You wouldn't design a guy who was 7'5"?
No,
and hold
up. So this is where, and again, I am not anti-Wemby, but and his form does look amazing.
Right, he does. It looks like he'll improve.
Right,
I mean, too tall.
I'm saying the shoot threes thing is a bit of a projection. It's 29% at the moment, but he's 7'5" and the form looks good. But I'm saying that tall and that skinny is not. If I were designing a prospect, you'd probably design as far as body type for the NBA, LeBron. Like tall enough to never be too short, strong enough, durable, all of that. So this is way better than the alternative, obviously. But this is when I saw them doing those exercises on his feet.
But smart.
And I said that is smart, but also concerning. That is smart that they are trying to be proactive. I
was going to say, I think it's more precaution than
yes, but there's but there's a reason like Scoot's not doing that, right? Because they have no reason to think. And so I think that we are putting a little too much at this kid's feet, no pun intended. Like I think if he comes out and is Anthony Davis, is basketball reference page, people say he was a massive failure, and I think that's unfair.
Let me ask this, because I feel some personal stuff here. Would you like him not to be the GOAT?
No.
Do you have a problem with him being? Because as much as I like Michael Jordan, I would love this kid to come out and be the best player we've ever seen.
I would
be absolutely as good as the projections.
No, if you think this is like trying to like reverse engineer LeBron protectionism, that's not it at all.
But you don't even think GOAT is on the board? Like, give me one reason other than he might get hurt that GOAT isn't on the board.
Well, I mean, I guess that to me is
a possibility.
No, sure. It's not so much that I'm trying to say it's not on the board. It's what I'm trying to say is I feel like the fact that it is being discussed as if it is a very real possibility, not somewhere on the far range of outcomes, but like, hey, if this kid stays healthy, he's going to be one of the 10 greatest players ever, and not 10 best players in the league, 10 greatest players ever, and, a 25% chance to be the greatest player of all time.
LeBron had that kind of hype.
Sports Illustrated.
LeBron had that kind of hype.
Yeah, I don't.
And lived up to it.
Got it. But I have more concerns about him than I would have.
We got to get to this. Okay. We thought pick number 2 was assuredly Scoot Henderson, but Vegas now has Alabama's Brandon Miller going to Charlotte. Miller was asked about the GOAT conversation overall, and here's what he said. Brew, take a listen.
I actually don't think LeBron is, the GOAT of basketball. I think my GOAT of basketball is Paul George. And, I always grew up watching him, so it's never just LeBron.
I mean, look, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
He's obviously saying his favorite player is Paul George. Correct. If he were saying that Paul George is actually the GOAT, that would make me not draft him. I'm saying, Paul George is the GOAT?
No, you had it right the first time.
It's his favorite player. I'm cool with that. That's fine.
I do not think that he's my GOAT means my favorite.
Okay.
I think that
he should have said that, though.
That is
my
GOAT
favorite.
is a movable term depending on how old you are.
Can I pull the curtain back on how this happened? This is where the audience thinks we're joking about, like maybe Brew technically does follow Wilds, but he's muted him or something. Because Wilds tweeted out this clip and a whole thought process on it on what GOAT means to different people of different ages 2 hours ago. And then we talked, we were like, Should we not even tell Brew it's in the show and have him live react to that? This guy called him.
Bruce sits up.
What is your handle? Okay, I'm gonna follow you now. Yes, I'm doing it now. DES. Okay. Yeah, I did put WILDS. It's EE in there.
Coming up after the break. It's a new episode of Weird and Wonderful. And what else are we doing? Oh, what should the Lakers do to contend with Joker? Next, FS1.
Baseball is back, and so is Flippin' Bats.
5 times a week, Monday through Friday.
So follow us on the Fox Sports app, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Fresh off of being swept and mocked during the championship parade, changes should be coming to Lakerland. Bill Plaschke's idea? Trade the 17th pick, sign Chris Paul, and try to win now. Brew, are the Lakers the most dangerous threat to Denver?
All right, let me start with this. For the sake of argument,
we
have 3 teams in the Western Conference to varying degrees, but they're all relatively close, where injuries are a major concern. Lakers, Suns, Clippers. For the sake of this argument, can we assume everybody's healthy?
Sure.
Okay.
You grudgingly.
No, because I don't think that. I think the Clippers are in a category by themselves. But we're trying to have a Lakers discussion.
Well, they all get hurt a lot. If they're all healthy, the Clippers are the
stop it.
Hold on. If they met the Lakers in the playoffs, they've beaten them 11 straight times.
How many? Okay.
Yeah, that's how many. 11 straight.
That's not what I was going to ask, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, finish, please.
I mean, I'm just saying, they got a championship guy in Kawhi Leonard who's proven he can win championships and lead a team to championships.
Yep.
If they're healthy, they are a problem. Heck, you saw what they gave. They gave Phoenix problems without any help.
True. Okay, let's say
so. What I would say Clippers and then Suns and Lakers together. Mm-hmm. And then after that is Golden State and the other team.
But right now, if Jokic said, you know what, I've done everything I came to do in this league, I'm retiring. I want to stay with my horses in Serbia. I'm done. And right now, this moment, you were told, hey, pick a team to win the West. Would the Clippers be your pick?
Well, if everybody's healthy.
But no. That is right now today.
You don't have concerns about Anthony Davis and LeBron?
There are
LeBron's
varying levels of concerns. I have concerns that my house could catch fire. I have more concerns that a house that is already on fire could catch fire.
It's not. It's not. I get that, but it's not quite the same. The next door neighbor's house is burning, and that's the Lakers.
No.
So your house is in danger.
Hold on.
With the Clippers, the house is burning.
All right, the Lakers. Okay, that's
so I get there's
We've
a difference.
Lost the plot on the analogy here. Listen, I think it's clearly. I don't think the Clippers are. When I was coming up with the teams, to me it is
you don't think they'll be healthy.
Yes, that is correct.
Somebody else could say that about the Lakers.
Yes, but that is, I don't know if have the same argument. But there have been moments in time when the Lakers have been healthy. Most notably when they won the championship and the playoffs this year. It's never happened for the Clippers. It's never happened.
It happened in the bubble and they lost.
Their first year and they blew a 3-1 lead, maybe because Kawhi was wearing down a bit because he's an unhealthy player, and then he blew his knee, and then he made it 2 playoffs.
The Lakers were healthy a year ago and they got swept.
What?
They were healthy this year.
Oh, this year, yeah, exactly. I agree.
So I don't know how they're that close to the Nuggets.
No, well, hold on. That's not the question, though.
LeBron was hurt.
Hold on. No. I'm not saying that. Wait, that's not the question, though. The question is not how close are they to the Nuggets.
I think the Suns and the Lakers. If you take out the Clippers, I think the Suns and the Lakers are right.
No love for the Warriors anymore, because I agree with you.
Well, if they do, I expect the Warriors to make moves. And if they get a 7-footer, it doesn't have to be great, but a 7-foot warm body who can give them some minutes and then trade Jordan Poole for some depth, then I think the Warriors will be right there.
Jordan Poole? Something
I think that'd be great.
Hold on. Well, I'm not saying that's the whole trade. I don't
see why Phoenix would do that.
Why Phoenix would do that?
Because do they need the Jordan Poole?
Well,
they need size,
well,
too.
so you're right. Probably have to be a 3-team trade. I'm just trying to think of something that could work there. But so Golden
they got
State,
DeAndre Ayton.
You believe in them. I just think Memphis is going in the wrong direction.
True.
I think Golden State, I don't want to say like
they're moves, right?
Yeah, they have to make significant moves, and there seems to be more, rumblings that Draymond actually could, truly test free agency.
You think so? I think that's all fake.
I don't think he wants to leave. Yeah, it's leverage.
So I was thinking it was all fake. Your buddy Bill Simmons, said he thinks the Dallas thing is very real, is a very real possibility. I should say he didn't predict it.
So can I just push back on that? Is that real because Rich and Draymond think Cuban is so desperate that he will jack up the price and then Mike Dunleavy Jr. or whoever's calling the shots in Golden State will then match it?
I don't know, but it might be real because they think that in a year from now it'll be Luka, Kyrie, Draymond, and LeBron. Maybe they think that not this coming season, but the season after.
I'll bet you a bottle of Lobos on that.
Well, again, I'm saying Golden State is in flux, we can say at the very least. Dallas is in flux for the very conversations we're having. I think the Lakers right now have more certainty than any team out west other than Denver. They certainly have more certainty than Phoenix, which has a new head coach and just traded away, their starting Hall of Fame point guard for Bradley Beal. I think the Lakers should feel better about their position than any team out west should feel right now, even with the age and injury concerns aside from Denver.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I asked Josh to bring this up. Are the Lakers just like running against Usain Bolt, where it's like, all right, Denver's got the gold, but we are in prime position for the silver? After they got swept and were outscored, Denver had better defense, more rebounds, shot better, took more threes, and made a higher percentage of threes. Yes,
but what I would caution you on that is, if you look back to the year the Lakers won the title, and then that offseason, they added, I forget who it was, but they added a couple pieces, but were essentially just running it back. The feeling was the Lakers were head and shoulders the favorites out west by a mile, and they were playing like it. And then, to Bruce's point, he suffered an injury at the wrong time. It all fell apart for him that year. It's hard to repeat in this league. I think the Lakers can line up right now and beat Denver? I don't. But I think it's foolish to act like they are definitively going to have to. That Denver, that is definitely just going to, go on the same run. I think it's very hard.
They're a contender, the Lakers. There's no doubt about that. If that's what they're right there. I think Phoenix is going to be good because that's like they couldn't score enough points against Denver.
Correct.
Right? Now they've got three.
Well, they also couldn't
20-plus score. Right, but now they got. Monty's a great coach, obviously, but Frank Vogel's a defensive coach.
Sure.
And DeAndre Ayton, we'll see what happens.
You know what I'll remember this show for?
What?
Brew reuniting with his beloved Clippers.
That's what it's all about.
I'm just stating facts.
No, you're back.
I'm stating facts.
You were back.
You're back.
11 straight over the Lakers.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
They're better than the Lakers.
They're not better than the Lakers.
They had a contest 11 times, and they lost 11.
Because that is not how the NBA works.
I got into a fight with a guy, and he beat me 11 times. I'm better than him.
Right.
Coming up in 24 hours, you're in luck. It's the most motivating segment in all of sports television. It's the Bud List. Drew, any
tough one?
Oh, no.
It's a lot. There's no hoop games.
Yeah, a lot of baseball
NFL
pictures.
games. Baseball, the draft.
Ooh.
Michael Jordan on there? His final pick?
Wow, look at these odds. Free agent DeAndre Hopkins.
It's on the board, Nick.
Took to Twitter and said, whoever is my future wide receiver group, I promise I will make your job easy. And this echoes some cogent analysis that we heard last week. If you get DeAndre Hopkins, you're actually getting three players.
Wait a minute.
You get DeAndre Hopkins, player number one, player number two.
Wait a minute.
You get a better Juju Smith-Schuster. And number three, you get a better Mac Jones.
You should have just retweeted your tweet.
No, he said it on the air, Brew. You were here.
You didn't tweet it too?
Well, just because DeAndre Hopkins said something.
I remember you said it.
Quote panel that was very similar. Said last week.
Well, gotta be honest, when you said it, I didn't think it was worth a quote panel. I'm just saying. I'm shocked at how far it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, I really just requested a quote panel on my own.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
What's the question? Brew, your reaction to that cogent analysis.
It's sad.
Oh, come on.
Not your analysis, but this, Nick, is a cry for help.
No, it's not.
It is a cry for help, Wiles, and I'm about to explain why. He is begging. He is begging a team with a great quarterback to come get me.
That is so
He wants
correct.
one of the receivers, right, Stephon Diggs or something, to go to Josh Allen, to go to the front office and say, look,
Hey, what less catches?
look at this tweet by DeAndre Hopkins. We get him, we're in business. We can beat Kansas City. Or Cincinnati's obviously not going there. But, you know, he wants one of these teams with a great quarterback and receiver to come get him. He's not excited about playing for either Ryan Tannehill or Mac Jones. Well, I'm sorry. That's what this is.
And by the way,
that's what this is.
Brew, I know you're not, a voracious Twitter reader, as we've learned throughout the show. What I was so surprised by, I was like, wait, DeAndre didn't say this on a podcast. I mean, he tweeted it.
Yeah.
So I went and checked. He hadn't tweeted in a month. So he takes to Twitter. Brew nailed it. It is someone who has been asked to prom, and prom is rapidly approaching. And they're like, I do not want to have to go with this person. But right now, they're the only person who's asked me. So then they're like saying, loudly in the hallways, they're like, my dad's going to get me a limo for prom. Like, I think or whatever it is. I don't know what you're going to say.
Let me borrow his Corvette.
Right, let me his Corvette. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, wild. Don't you agree?
Yes. What?
As sad as it makes you that it would appear DeAndre Hopkins doesn't necessarily want to be a Patriot, but realizes he might have to be.
Nick even softened it with necessarily. He don't want to be a Patriot.
It's about
clear
negotiating. And DeAndre Hopkins and his agent are very savvy.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for the news alert to drop. Anything yet, Josh? Let me know. When he signs with the Patriots, and here's some cogent analysis, since you guys just want to make fun of me, I'll be the cogent analysis guy. If he wants a deal like OBJ, who's making about 18, Mac Jones is making $4 million. Yeah. So give him the $18 million. I think OBJ's is 15 and 3 with incentives. Give him 18 guaranteed. Now you have a number one wide receiver and your quarterback making a combined $22 million, about half as much as Daniel Jones. It's a bargain. And you get to see what you have in Mac Jones. Because I do think it's on the board that Mac Jones is not the guy. It's got to be on the board.
Really? Whoa. The baby goat?
From cogent. This is me.
You should never call him the baby goat
this is
until
not
he comes out and does something.
This is cogent analysis. In year 3, you have to make a decision.
Okay,
Give the guy a number one wide receiver to see if you have to draft somebody else. This is cogent analysis.
I'm proud.
You guys up here doing a comedy show.
Okay. All right.
Just saying.
Coming up next.
Wait,
I'll go back to my. Are we? Oh, we're doing the Ravens.
Look at you. You got so emotional about the baby goat.
Marlon Humphrey, echoing the enthusiasm coming out of Baltimore. Take a listen.
On paper, we look scary. I think the product we put out, that's really all that really matters. But on paper, man, we look very scary.
So one of the many things I'm very excited for about this upcoming NFL season, I think in the AFC, which I think we all believe is the tougher conference,
yes,
you have 2 divisions that are going to be dogfights in the top. As far as the AFC East, I think you can make a credible case for 3 teams winning it, and you can make a case for any of the 4. Mm-hmm. The case for the Patriots is the case for the Patriots is that Mac Jones takes a massive leap. They signed a receiver, and we were wrong about Mac Jones. But a credible case for 3 of them. The AFC North, you can make an odd case, I think, for all 4. I think they're stronger, but there's very strong cases for the 2 at the top, Cincinnati and Baltimore. And the question really is, Brew, is Lamar going to end up being worth the contract he just signed and stay healthy? But I think the Ravens, to me, are a scary team. You guys remember last year I talked about that they were, after Cincinnati, to me, the team that scared me the most for the Chiefs in the AFC because of the X factor of Lamar.
They are indeed very scary. All right? I mean, look, Lamar Jackson wins. Dustin?
Oh.
The graphic. This one we haven't seen this in a while. This is the guys who won 70% of their games since the merger. And you see Jimmy G's on there. I'm not even talking about Jimmy G, though. He is in the top 7. Oh, wow. Lamar Jackson is second among active quarterbacks in winning. Now, obviously, the great Patrick Mahomes is number 1, but they win with Lamar. That defense is legit. It was 3rd in the league in scoring last year, scoring defense. Look, they gave Cincinnati with Tyler Huntley.
Yeah,
remember that? I mean, could have won that game if not for that fumble, right, the 98-yard return. So, They're going to be scary. And the receiving core is great. I can't wait to see what the offense looks like with Todd Monken.
Yep.
And they got the great receivers. If the running backs are healthy, they should be good.
Can I
throw
a little cold water on here just because you guys are so enthusiastic? Seems like a lot of hope. I just wrote down, like, the hope column is this. Zay Flowers is the guy. OBJ has more left in the tank. Lamar's healthy and takes a leap, and the OC unlocks dynamic offense. The guarantees, Mark Andrews in the defense. Just feels like there's a lot.
The only problem with Lamar is if he gets hurt, which, okay, that's fair.
I want to see Lamar like classic thrower now.
Oh, well, we got to see that.
I think he'll be. He's not going to throw it like Mahomes, but I think the combination of his throwing and running is going to be
the Ravens have about as good of a shot as anybody if they're second in the AFC. They're right there. They're in the amongst of the teams.
No, that's fair, but I mean, look, Kansas City should be the favorite.
Well, I mean, they're going to win. I mean, I don't know if you know.
They
the
barely
AFC Championship game is literally now called the Arrowhead.
They barely squeak by who they? Barely.
Welcome back to a big show, by the way. Kevin Durant has a new teammate in Bradley Beal. He also went to bat for some old teammates, Kyrie and Harden, in a Twitter exchange with his friend Eddie Gonzalez. Here he is on Harden. One of the most influential in the history of the game. It's insane. Nobody sees it. And here he is on, actually, Kyrie and Russ, 3 old teammates. Inspired a whole generation. They don't ever get credit for it. I thought it was very nice. I don't totally know if it made sense. I thought it was nice. Brew,
it was nice. Call me nobody. Because I don't see how James Harden is one of the most influential players. Now, one of the greatest players? Sure. You guys know, I've always said James Harden is one of those unique players, one of the few players who I think is an all-time elite scorer and all-time elite playmaker. Like, he was great as a point guard for Brooklyn. And I thought this year, he's older, he's not quite himself, but he led the league in assists. Yeah. He is a very good point guard. So, James Harden is an all-time great. I don't know how in the world he's influenced the game. When I think of who influenced the game in this generation, I'm thinking LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Nikola Jokic. And if you want to throw in Durant
Jokic influenced the game?
Yeah, because people are going to start following a big man that can bring it up court and do all the things he does. You could say KD, although you probably say Dirk instead of KD, because maybe, Dirk was before KD, but the 7-footer shooting like that. But I don't see the influence of James Harden.
So let's stay on Harden, and then we can get to the Kyrie and Russ one. I totally see what he's saying. I think James Harden, they didn't get over the finish line as a champion. But what Harden and Morey in Houston teaming up to do the self-realized threes and layups and free throws offense.
I'll buy that.
That did, and you needed James Harden's.
That was Mike D'Antoni.
Well, that was
his
no, because I was there, and I'm not trying to say I was there, so I know it. But when Kevin McHale was the coach, they were doing it. They did it more with Mike D'Antoni when he was there as well. But the Harden's specific skill set of being able to draw the fouls, the step-back three, which I think he popularized more so than any other player, all of that influenced it. Now, you can argue a lot of it influenced in a bad way, to where the league is not as aesthetically pleasing if you like the mid-range, and the league had to step in and be like, these jabroni fouls of, like, hooking a guy and the unnatural stuff. They've changed the rules. But no, I don't think that's what he's talking about. But I do think Harden is a wildly influential player on a with an influential style.
The only thing I see that you said that he's influenced is the step back. And he's not obviously the originator of that, but he's one of the greatest players to do it. I don't think the fouling, I don't see that as being everybody's trying to do that. And the three, like I said, I would give more credit to D'Antoni for that style of play than Harden.
Well, I mean,
Harden had to execute it.
And so, listen, I do think that there are players far greater than James Harden who I think have had far less influence on the style of basketball that is played and the prevalence of, he was, if you look back on that run in Houston, he was shooting 10-plus threes and taking 10-plus free throws a game. We'd never seen someone do it.
But who's playing like Harden? Who do you see that's
every kid
trying to play like Harden? Like Harden?
Yeah, someone explained to me that's like when we were growing up, Brew, I'm going to put you and I in the same age bracket, the goal of basketball was to get past the guy. And then at a certain point, it changed to just getting space and going the opposite direction. Rather than going past, I'm going backwards. And then the other question I have for you is this. Who do you consider the father of the Euro step? Like if you go out on the court right now,
yeah, a lot of people say
I think
the
Harden,
grandfather, but Harden made it the thing.
I agree
But
with
I think Ginobili, I say Ginobili.
Ginobili is I'd say
everybody
the originator, but
associates it with
Harden
him.
almost like perfected it. He didn't perfect it, but you know what I mean? He did it at such a more prolific level. Go ahead.
No, it's when you spin forward to Kyrie and Russ.
Exactly right. So I am a Kyrie, I don't want to say critic, I guess is the fair word. You know what I mean? I have been
more as a marionette.
But that's right. He called me a puppet. I'm sorry, I didn't get it. But I do think these guys get credit, and I do think there's a generation of kids that look at them as icons, bro.
I think they're legitimate icons.
Yeah, so I don't know I don't think what KD has wrong here is that he inspired a whole generation. I think what he has wrong here is they don't get credit for it. I'm not sure what he's looking for. They both had signature shoes. They were both, you know what I mean? In popular culture, some of the most talked about players of their generation. Kyrie hasn't gotten the awards, but he hasn't earned the awards. No one be like, I should have won MVP that year. That hasn't happened. So I agree with the first part of this, but I don't understand the second part.
I think Kyrie's inspiration comes off the court. And I don't mean the controversies, but the great things he's done charitably. In December, we put $22,000 in a college student's GoFundMe account because she needed to finish college. So I think things like that, and he's done many more. People see that. People see him, whether you disagree with him or not, people see him as a guy that is thoughtful and cares about people outside of basketball and things outside of basketball. I think that's inspiring. On the court, I think and you guys know, I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I think he's more of a cautionary tale, though, as far as he's lost tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, but on the court, don't you think you see
the handle
and the layup package? To me, kids try to emulate.
Well, he's the best I think he's the best ball handler in NBA history, but he's, I would say, more inspirational. He even got a lot of that from And1. And I think kids look at And1 mixtapes. Kyrie's done it better than anybody, and even the finishing. Again, I'm going Rod Strickland, and Kyrie got a lot of it from him.
Isn't that his godfather?
Yeah, I think.
What proof can I give you?
I don't know if people are looking at
the best below the rim finisher ever.
Arguably, he's certainly in that.
He's got the best handle, and most kids, when we're talking about Durant, especially kids, can't dunk.
Right.
Yeah.
So there he is.
Yeah, I think KD's
inspirational.
Right on this.
Yeah. I don't see how Russ. The thing about Russ was he played so hard.
Yeah.
But he's not the first player to play so hard.
He is.
So, according to KD and you, he is.
Ben Simmons back in the lab. That's not a good deal. Come on. Well,
we're
yawning on the bench.
Great.
I thought we were showing Instagram.
Are we going to see it?
Yeah.
Instagram. There we go. That's much better.
He looking muscular. I give him that.
There's a lot of
It's not a hoop
Dusty, that's the body I want. When you put me in the cowboy
guy
hat.
on his knee or Ben Simmons?
Yeah,
Ben Simmons.
Oh, okay.
Ben Simmons.
Minding my business, working my ass off, chop wood and carry water. Zen Buddhism saying. So, you're what?
I don't want to hear from Ben until you're playing basketball.
Well,
because it wasn't like he missed the whole season, right? He played 42 games. He averaged 6, 6, and 6. All right? I don't know if he's done it this offseason, but all these off seasons in the past where he's shooting J's and he's stepping back, shooting threes over who knows who he's playing against, there is a mental block still with him during NBA games. Because even going back to Philadelphia, there are people that would tell you he would shoot jumpers and look okay doing it. But then in the game, he was afraid to shoot. And I don't think it's to the point where it was a year ago, but it still is a factor for him, I believe. And until I see him go out there and let it all hang out and play up to his potential, I don't want to see stuff like this. Just show me, don't tell me.
All right, so 2 points. One is, I do believe that was the very first time Wild has ever cursed on the show, so I will remember this show for that and for Brew becoming a Clippers fan again. I know you were reading a quote. I know, but I don't. You usually, you usually say something else, so I will remember that. Mark it in the time capsule. Here's the other thing. Do you guys remember the last time we talked about Ben Simmons on the show? Because it was Instagram related. It was when the Sixers lost. Remember?
Oh, yeah. He had his off-kilter television.
Yeah, exactly.
He was watching the game.
That tweet is why I can't give him credit for this tweet.
Why?
The whole minding my, like, oh, guys, don't mind me. I'm blocking out the noise. I'm going because there was some internet. There's another thing that was talked about this week was some internet, sleuths saying that a previous Instagram picture of him was artificially enhanced to make him look more muscular. So I think maybe this is in response to that. But you hadn't been minding your business, man. You don't play and you take trollish shots at the Sixers. You like it?
Well,
how can you like
pick one? Hey, Ben, you need to get your confidence back. Start on Instagram.
Oh, that's a sign of confidence.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm with
Talk trash to Joel
If
Embiid.
he's going to come out and ball, I am totally with it. Tweet away. Post away.
What I am worried about, I have the opposite take of you. I follow Ben Simmons, and I'm waiting for those basketball shots, basketball videos, and they haven't been out. It's him tying his shoes. It's him lifting kettlebells. It's him with his trainer with rubber bands. You know how I feel about those training rubber bands.
Yeah.
I want to see straight up basketball. Straight up basketball.
Okay.
And until I see it, I still think there's a block there.
Yeah.
Real basketball.
I don't think we
Chris
have
Brickley.
much evidence that Ben Simmons enjoys playing basketball that much. And I think that combined with the mental block is made him a non-player. Like I don't know. I still believe in Ben Simmons. Of course not. Right. I know it sounds mean. I know it sounds harsh. But I mean, he has, I think, opted into this path. And
I'm rooting for him.
Agreed.
I've seen a lot of pictures.
I think we're all rooting for him.
Well, do you know he has a Labradoodle?
Oh, that's on his Instagram?
Yes, I see a lot of them.
Okay.
You see more of Ben Simmons' Instagrams than Bruce sees of your tweets.
That's a fact. That's true. But I follow you now. I just followed you.
Welcome back to Just an Electric Show. Friend of the show, Bill Simmons, said someone that he trusts told him that Zion won't be on the Pelicans by tomorrow. Brew, do you expect this to happen?
No. I expect Zion to be with New Orleans. I just think he's too good, and he's too young, and he's got too much upside not to give him another chance. And I get that he's got a lot of growing up to do. He's got to shift his attitude. Maybe his work ethic needs to improve. But I think what they're going to do, because they got rid of the head guy, medical trainer, or at least moved him away from that position. Zion was not fond of him. They got rid of a coach that he loved in Teresa Witherspoon, who's a great coach, but there was a feeling among some that she kind of coddled him too much. I think they're going to try to drive him more, have him play more, and see how it goes. And again, he's just too good and too young. It's not like he's been out the complete seasons, the whole season. So I think they'll bring him back and make a go at it.
So if that's the case, Nick, we talked about it yesterday, these rumors are all over the place. Mm-hmm. Why hasn't New Orleans or David Griffin called somebody, anybody, Mark Stein, called just someone, say, hey, putting my foot down here. Zion is our guy. We are building around him. He is not being traded.
Because I think they're shopping him. Now, it doesn't mean that you get the offer you want. I think it's pretty clear that they don't feel Scoot Henderson for Zion Williamson is a good enough deal. I think because it would appear that they could trade.
They seem to love Scoot.
That's what I thought. And maybe that's what ends up happening. Mm-hmm. Like that seems to be, and right now it would look like you can get Scoot by trading for the number 2 pick with Charlotte or the number 3 pick with Portland, because Charlotte, if they stay there, is going to take Brandon Miller. I am not predicting he's traded. I do believe that they are shopping him and that they are aggressively trying to drive up the price to a place where they feel they have to take the deal. I also think it'd be best for Zion. I agree with Brew that in a perfect world, if I'm New Orleans, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we saw them win the lottery. And we saw the live cam of like the season ticket sales office, and they went crazy, and it was all. And it's not that long ago. It was December when he averaged 37 and 5 on 60% for a month for a team that looked like it was going to be a top 4 seed in the West. We're not that far removed from any of those things. But I do think it'd be best for him to get a fresh start and to get a clean slate of things. I do think it'd be best for Zion, but if you're New Orleans, it is, in that market in particular, you don't only need like a good team. You need a draw. And New Orleans has always had trouble, like, and he could be the best draw in the league.
Let's put it this way, Wilds. If Zion stays in New Orleans and he's healthy, I don't think they'd win the West, but they're a contender. They're
on the
right
list.
there, right?
They're on the list.
If you trade him, say, for Scoot Henderson, are you a contender? No.
Not this year.
Not this year, and we'll see going forward. But I think Scoot will be good too. But he's not going to be Zion Williamson. And so I think even if you get Scoot, he comes in and plays well, you're not a contender in the West if you make that move. And also I think that, look, you make a lot of sense in saying, why haven't they shut down these rumors? That's true. But they also could be like, we kind of like it out there. Let's see how Zion responds. I mean, this should light a fire under the young man.
You're a tough love guy.
Yeah, I am. I'm from the older generation. That's how we do it.
No, it's not.
And it works.
Well, sometimes it works. It's not a foolproof plan. But we don't need the graphic.
Dustin, if it's there, I'd like to see it.
The old,
I don't think y'all lucky.
Aristotle or something.
Bruto.
Bruto. Sorry, that's what he wants. I know. Honestly, we do a dumb show.
Dustin.
It's a smart dumb show. But can I stay here with Zion?
I'm begging you, Dustin. Can you get
it would be unprecedented for a guy this young, who already has proven to be this good, to be traded before the second contract even kicks in. There is no context for it. And so I wonder, the tough love thing, Brew, I would agree with to an extent if the feeling was, this guy is lazy.
I think there is some of that.
I think there is some of that. But and this is maybe where me and Wiles are more aligned than necessarily you, that press conference he gave when he was like
New York?
No, the press conference he gave near the end of the year. No, near the end of the year. I should have had him pull it. I apologize. But you guys will remember it. Where he's like, "No, I'm healthy, but I don't feel like Zion." And it really seemed like he is going through some things. And you mentioned, I think it was you that mentioned to me, that in all the messiness of the stuff going on with the women in his life, one thing we all found out is his whole weight issue has gotten to a point to where even the women in his life off the court are talking to him about it. And like, I tried to keep you in shape. I tried to do this. Like, that is, so he has a lot of stuff, Brew, for a kid from a small town in South Carolina that I think is weighing on him. I don't think he's a bad kid. I think maybe he doesn't yet know how to be a professional. But those, you know what I mean? That's different. Right. And the eating and sleeping and all that is how to be a professional. But what I think we can all agree on, similar to what I was saying about with the Blazers, that they have botched the Lillard era, is while Zion owns a lot of this, Brew, the Pelicans have not, clearly, almost by definition, have not done the best things for him.
Well, then that would be another reason to keep him. And I'm not saying they got a clean house, but if that's true, then let's put the right people around him.
Keep him and figure it out.
He's too good to we haven't handled him well, we've mismanaged him, we don't have the right people in his life, so let's trade him. No, you can replace executives and coaches. You can't replace Zion Williamson.
I mean, I don't know. If you got rid of Teresa Witherspoon, who was served as a maternal figure to him, that he was tearing up when he talked about what she meant to him. Like, oh, by the way, we're going to let her go.
Up.
Okay. I don't think that works. It doesn't work. He's like, I don't feel like Zion. Tough luck.
We talked about
$200 million. I don't care what you feel like. Get out there and play.
I wonder what a Zion Jaylen Brown trade looks like.
Seriously,
Oh,
I'm glad
here we
Zion.
go.
I hope Zion's
It's not
watching
even
this.
a good Photoshop.
No,
it's not
terrible.
good. Your head is
That-
humongous.
That's not a Photoshop. That's my body.
Okay, that's the outfit.
All right, we gotta go.
made
The
it, guys.
outfit is
People-
different.
Travis Kelce
Well done.
defended his quarterback after Jamar Chase defended his quarterback
That's not what Jamar Chase did.
by saying, Pat who? Never heard of the guy. It's a little bit of creative
It
license.
was an aggressive defense.
Take a listen to Travis.
Yeah, man. It is what it is, dog. Who doesn't love some good locker room banter, man? Shout out to Jamar Chase for, holding it down for his QB, but don't you ever disrespect Pat Mahomes now. If you want to talk your pimp. Just better back it up.
Yeah. You know what he was bothered by?
What?
The Pat Who line. This is very clear. It is very clear. Hey, Nick, who do you think I've used the example again. Best studio host in America is Kevin Wildes. Really? Because Wildes was asked and he said Ernie Johnson. Well, Ernie's great, but I prefer Wildes. As opposed to, well, Wildes says Ernie Johnson. Ernie who? That's rude. I would owe him an apology. I'd send him a note, be like, sorry, I got ahead of myself. It's rude. And Patrick clearly was bothered by it because on a night of jubilant celebration, he thumbed out one tweet with a picture of his 2 rings and said, that's who. And now Travis Kelce's on board. So, listen, thank you, Bengals. I appreciate it. It helps those summer workouts go a little quicker.
You're right. All right. And you guys know how great I think Patrick Mahomes is. He is clearly the best quarterback in the history of the game. Jordan-esque. First to say he's got GOAT potential. It's all documented by Sports Illustrated. But here's the thing you got to accept, Nick, and this might backfire. Maybe it'll backfire on the Bengals. They ain't scared of the Chiefs.
That's fine.
They've beaten y'all 3 out of the last 4 times you've met. And they lost on a controversial call and a late last-second field goal.
It was not controversial.
They ain't scared.
It was not controversial, and the game was tied.
They ain't scared.
Okay, that's fine.
They think they better than y'all.
Okay, well, that's idiotic.
Idiotic. They lost on a last-second field goal.
The Chiefs have accomplished more in the year 2023 than the Bengals have in the history of their franchise.
Okay.
So stop. Just stop.
They're just not scared. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine. You cannot be scared. And I respect that, by the way. And I respect unlike Jair Alexander saying Jordan Love's the best quarterback in football, that's ridiculous. But Jamar Chase saying Joe Burrow's the best, that'd be fine. The Pat Who thing, though, oh boy. I have a feeling that's over. Bellowed.
More first things first tomorrow.